longer find.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. It's a Wednesday, so everybody knows by now that means it's time for another weekly top 10 countdown. Before I get into it, let me first say that I've got a shout out coming up at the end of the video, so please stay tuned for that. And also let me remind you once again, this upcoming Saturday night, April 23rd, come on out to 244 Livestock Road, Easton Ollie, Georgia, for some great independent wrestling action with SWA. Former WWE superstar Jackson Riker will be there along with all the great stars of SWA. 244 Livestock Road, Easton Ollie, Georgia. Once again is the address. Doors open at 6 and bell time will be 7 o'clock and tickets will be $10, and you can purchase tickets at the door, but it is first come, first serve. So unless you call and reserve your tickets, I would advise you to get there really early. But on to this week's top 10 countdown, and I'm doing this countdown, and I think it's because of the area I live in and where I live, but there's a lot of controversy in this area because of this countdown, so I figured I would go ahead and do it and see if anybody has any thoughts or opinions on it. I was going to do it next week, and then at the last minute I said I'll go ahead and do it this week to see if anybody has any thoughts or opinions on it. And like I said, I think it's because of the area I live in, and I'll tell you why coming up here in just a few minutes. But recently, ESPN released their top 100 running backs of the last 60 years. Now, I'm not going to run down all 100, but feel free to get on Google and read all 100 if you do so choose. I'm going to give you the top 10. And there's only one from the 21st century on this countdown. So if you're a young person or young in college football, you're probably only going to recognize that one name. And that one name from the 21st century is former USC running back Reggie Bush, who was there, of course, from 2003 to 2005. And he's probably the only one you're going to see on that list ever. If they redo this list in 5 or 6 years, there's probably still only going to be one name from the 21st century on the list, and it'll be Reggie Bush. Not because he was so much better than all the new running backs, but because the game of football has changed now, and it's all about the passing game. So it's hard for running backs to build up stats when they're only getting the ball 12, 13 times a game. They used to get the ball 25, 30 times a game. And in order to get on this list and have all those great stats, you have to get the ball. And you can't get the ball when it's a passing game now. Number 9 on the list, Earl Campbell, who was at Texas from 74 to 77. Number 8 on the list, Bo Jackson. Of course, he was at Auburn from 82 to 85. Number 7, Mike Rozier, Nebraska, 81 to 83. Number 6, Tony Dorsett, Pittsburgh, 73 to 76. And before I give you the top 5, I'll run down 10 through 6 one more time. Number 10, Reggie Bush. Number 9, Earl Campbell. Number 8, Bo Jackson. Number 7, Mike Rozier. And number 6, Tony Dorsett. And again, this is the top 100 running backs of the last 60 years, according to ESPN. And I'm just running down numbers 10 through 1. Number 5, O.J. Simpson, USC, 67 and 68. I'll never forget when I was in school, Somebody asked me one time what OJ stood for, and just being funny, I said, orange juice. And from that point forward, every time I seen OJ Simpson, I would always think of orange juice. Number 4, Ricky Williams, Texas, 95 to 98. Number 3, Herschel Walker, Georgia, 1980 to 82. Number 2, Archie Griffin, the first and only ever so far person to win back-to-back Heisman trophies, Ohio State, 72 to 75. And number 1, Barry Sanders, Oklahoma State, from 86 to 88. And this is where the controversy comes in at. And like I said, I think it's because of where I live. Because anytime you mention running backs, Georgia fans are always going to say Herschel Walker. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of older Georgia fans who have been watching Georgia football since the 60s and 70s who have said they were so glad when Vince Dooley left, because when Vince Dooley was the coach and Herschel Walker was there, Vince Dooley acted like Herschel Walker was the only person on the team. And all they did was Herschel Walker up the middle, Herschel Walker to the right, Herschel Walker to the left, and the rest of the guys just got completely forgotten about. So a lot of the older Georgia fans did not like Vince Dooley because they thought and they felt like he used Herschel Walker too much. But most Georgia fans, of course, since they're Georgia fans, are going to think Herschel Walker is the best because most fans get blindsided by their team. You know, good or bad, you're always going to get blindsided by your team. Very few people in any fan base, in any sport, can be logical when it comes to their team. It just happens. That's how we are. But if you look at stats, you see why Barry Sanders is number 1. And I feel bad for Archie Griffin because everybody just pretends like Herschel Walker is better than Barry Sanders. Nobody even mentions Archie Griffin. So do you also think Archie Griffin is better than Barry Sanders? Or do you think it should be Herschel Walker number 1, Barry Sanders number 2, Archie Griffin number 3? But quickly, I'm going to run down not all their stats. That would take all day long. But the key stats for Herschel Walker and Barry Sanders, and you'll understand why Barry Sanders is number 1 on the list. It's really not even close. But Herschel Walker averaged 5.3 yards per carry, while Barry Sanders averaged 6.8. So Barry Sanders averaged 1.5 yards more per carry than Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker had 49 touchdowns. Barry Sanders had 48. And here's the big difference. Herschel Walker had 994 career carries, while Barry Sanders had 523. So Barry Sanders had 471 less carries than Herschel Walker, and he only had 1 less touchdown. So you can imagine if he would have been even within 100 carries of Herschel Walker's 994, how many touchdowns Barry Sanders would have had. So Barry Sanders was a lot more productive in his carries than Herschel Walker was, and that goes back to what I was saying a while ago with the old school Georgia fans who thought Herschel Walker was overused. The first 2 years of Barry Sanders' career at Oklahoma State, he split carries with the other 2 running backs. So their coach had enough sense to know there was more running back on the football field than just one. Vince Dooley never did figure that out. So you have to wonder how much more productive could Herschel Walker have been if he wouldn't have been overused by the coach. And you also have to wonder how much more productive Barry Sanders could have been if he would have gotten more carries. But he averaged 6.8 yards per carry, and Herschel Walker averaged 5.3. So Barry Sanders averaged 1.5 more yards per carry than Herschel Walker, and he had 471 less attempts, but only one fewer touchdown. So that's why you have Barry Sanders at number 1 and Herschel Walker at number 3. It's all about productivity, and Barry Sanders was certainly, unquestionably more productive when he had the football than Herschel Walker was. Any thoughts on this list? Please feel free to let me know. My shout out today goes out to my man Wild Bill, who subscribed to the channel on Monday night. He lives in the upstate of South Carolina, and he is a Clemson fan. Wild Bill, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Tell your friends. Tell your family. And if you do so choose to comment on any video at any time, you will be eligible for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway whenever we get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. How do you make Lady Gaga mad? Poker face. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.